Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Horn Dawgs Podcast 2024 edition. rough. How are you, Steve?
Great, man. It's great to be back. You only missed a couple of episodes. It appears to you as if we took 2 weeks off, but we banked a bunch of them. So I don't think we've recorded since maybe a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in months.
Yeah. So this is fantastic. I feel well rested. I've got a gorgeous baby that we're obviously going to talk about. How you doing?
Life is pretty awful right now. It's really, really bad. We were talking about it before. We basically did a very depressing podcast right before this in which we didn't record. We had to get it out.
The strike's over, but there's been no change for anything. There is a genocide going on. We're not going to talk about any of this stuff because we're a funny podcast, but it is bleak in many ways. It is very bleak. I'm going through stuff I can't talk about. Bleak. But we have a beautiful baby daughter now by the name of Hilda Bruce. Isn't that great?
It's great.
Yeah.
I love now I know you probably explained this to a bunch of people. Why Bruce?
Well, that's why I'm really stoked about this podcast, because I'm just going to tell people to listen to this episode so we don't have to tell this fucking story every time. Hilda is my grandmother's name, and we just love the alliteration. Hilda Hernandez. Solid name. She's a star.
Yeah.
Bruce, we wanted a guy's name in the middle. I just think it's cute whenever women have guys' names, and Julia does too. And we love Bruce Springsteen. So Hilda Bruce, and also so we could call her the boss, Yeah. We can call her the Bruce, like from Braveheart. There's Robert the Bruce. So I'm always calling her all these different fucking things. It's really fun.
Yeah, I like that you also picked a unmistakably masculine name. You didn't try to do the unisex like Dylan.
No.
You basically was like Hilda, Lenny. That's kind of like what you did.
Even if she wants to use Bruce as her like stage name in the middle or something.
If she decides she's a trans man.
Yeah. Or she always was a trans man.
Oh, right. Or she decides to reveal that she is a trans man.
Dude, we're watching this podcast called Natalia Speaks, The Curious Case of this little I'm sure you've heard of this. The movie Orphan is based on this.
Oh, yes, I know. No, I know everything about this. I listened to a whole podcast about this.
Okay, on Max, they have this new, it's like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
If you listen to the whole podcast, you don't need to watch this, although it's incredible. But the whole thing they keep talking, if you don't know this story, this rich couple, I believe in Ohio, Indiana, adopts this 6-year-old from Ukraine. But a 6-year-old dwarf from Ukraine. But she ends up being a full-on, they think she's an adult probably, and she's a full-on psychopath. If you were to see pictures of her, she does look like a little girl, but then when you place her next to other dwarves, people with her disease that are 6, like she's obviously a grown woman. And this whole program, all they keep talking about is she's got pubes. That's the whole thing. It comes up time and time again. They're like, it was odd that we pulled down her pants and she had a full-on bush.
And she had a full clit piercing, and she had some tattoos that said, what did it say? It said Bonnaroo 99.
Here's the thing. You keep feeling bad for the little girl the whole time too. If she's a little girl, so far we're like 5 episodes in. They never like really get down to it. You feel bad for her because the parents are fucking idiots and they keep doing fucked up shit. But like she like says stuff like Freddy Krueger too. She'll say stuff like, they're like, she kept trying to push the mom into an electric fence and saying, I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch.
I love that. And I love that this happened to 2 rich people.
Yes.
I love that. And I think this was karma. They deserved this.
Well, you want to know what's something that's very fucked up about that too is
I'm gonna kill you, bitch.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
The dad wakes
up. My
up.
daughter, I think there's something wrong with my daughter.
The parents, by the way, just for those of you listening, if you don't know the story, the parents, they're not very credible. Like, it seems like they're making a lot of this shit up. Although this little chick seems like a fucking creep too. But the dad said at one
this
point,
little dude's a creep.
the dad said at some point he like woke up and she was standing in the middle of the room and he was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Waiting for you to go to sleep." She's like, "I'm gonna stab the boys. They're two brothers." That's what they say. She said, but every time you start to feel bad for her, they get her apartment later on. Because they just change her age to 22 somehow, and they get her an apartment and bring her groceries, and then people in this like strip apartment thing are saying like, we felt bad for her. She's like, there's this picture of her trying to take out the trash, but then they're like,
it looks like a little kid trying to.
She's dragging like a big like a big trash can.
Was there a body inside? She's dragging
it, and she's a dwarf, and. Then they're like, but she just keeps coming over. She like goes into their house, starts eating their food. Then they like, she was rolling around with a 6-year-old. They're like, it's really weird because she was obviously an adult, but she would love to play like in the grass with these 6-year-olds. Ew. And then one time she was with this little boy and she just dove for his pants and started to unbuckle his pants. And they dragged her away or whatever like that. So every time you want to feel sorry for her, you find out she's a molester too. So
yeah, it's like, doesn't she know that there are fully grown dwarf men with some big ass dwarf cocks? Now I don't know if you know, but the dwarfism does not extend to the cock.
Yeah,
and some of these I don't know how they walk. They're just dragging a literal third leg. They have a real third leg.
I wish I could be a dwarf so I could have a big dick.
No, they have a big dick even for normal sized dudes.
Well, that's the thing too. They say she keeps coming on to men. She corners this old guy in the laundry room.
Yeah.
And said she's like throwing herself.
He's like finally a 6-year-old who's down to fuck.
It would be very hard for me to turn down a 22-year-old aggressive dwarf.
but if she looked like a 6-year-old,
she's a dwarf. If you know she's 22, But
what about she literally looks like a 6-year-old, no tits, and she's like,
"Oh no, she has tits."
Oh, she does. Okay.
Yeah.
So did that not tip them off, or did they think like the stuff they're putting in the milk these days? You know,
it's very. The whole thing's very odd. She's from the Ukraine. I blame it on that. Let Russia have Ukraine. That's what I say. But
no.
I will say the one thing. Oh, really? You're down to help the Ukrainian people?
Why not?
They're white supremacists mostly.
But so are Russians.
Yeah, but why are we having the war?
I mean, I'm not saying we should be in the war, but I'm saying I don't think we should let Russia just take over because they'll just take over all their old satellite states.
We are not talking about this right now.
I'm just saying we can't let them expand. But I also think that about us. I think we need to stop expanding because we're not a country, we're an empire. We'll be right back, guys.
But what if Ukraine keeps producing these dwarfs with pubes? Don't you think that's enough to let Russia overtake them?
No, we charge Russia with this because I think it's their chemical warfare or the pollution of the Ukrainian water that's probably producing all of these dwarves. If Russia wasn't bombing Ukraine, maybe normal people would be born.
Okay. All right. Julia's giving a thumbs up. She agrees with Jonathan's theory.
Yeah.
Anyways, the main reason I wouldn't have sex with this 22-year-old dwarf is they keep saying she smells like shit.
She probably doesn't bathe.
No, they're like, there's a neighbor who was like, maybe she can't actually physically like get her clothes off and stuff like that.
What?
Which I'd help her, you know.
Oh my God.
She's 22. It's okay. She's got full on bush.
But that's the thing. If someone is 22, but they have that Andy Milonakis disease where they look 12.
Yeah.
I think you're still a pedophile if you fuck them, but that sucks for the Andy Milonakises of the world.
Yeah, no.
But maybe that's what I think we were talking about this. These people are designed to help the pedos, right? Because they can actually legally sleep with them.
Sure. Yes.
Maybe that's why God sent them to us
to help the pedos.
Yeah.
I wonder if the pedo would be attracted to a dwarf like that.
Probably on first glance, but I think probably after a while, no, because they actually wouldn't act like a kid.
Yeah.
And then that would the allure would be off, you know, like she probably walks around like a regular 22-year-old girl. You know how they all have like a big keychain with lots of keys.
Vaping.
There's like a messy bun.
Yeah.
You know, they're always like putting their keys down on counters, and they have like a big thermos. And
I'm telling you, at the bar, working at the bar, everybody vapes. It's like the grossest thing in the world.
it's it's bad. It's unattractive.
Yeah, but everyone vapes. I always kick them out. Listen to me. If you're watching this, or if you think that vaping's okay to do indoors, it's not, okay? I don't care where you're at. Go outside, vape in someone else's face. But it is just so weird for people to be sucking on these things all the time.
Steve's daughter I caught her recently vaping while she was breastfeeding
God.
Julia.
she was sucking on
she
the
had
tea.
the tit, and then she would go from the tit to the vape.
Well, you know, after a big meal, I can see that.
Generation Alpha's crazy.
Did you know that the bigger a woman's breast, the more milk they produce?
No, but that makes total sense because there's more milk glands, right?
It's not true, but I thought that.
You're just lying to me.
Whenever you hear about a woman struggling to breastfeed, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. If you're a woman, you know this, I'm sure. But they try to like make you feel guilty if you can't breastfeed. They say that formula is not good, that the best is. So this is just another thing for you to feel guilty about. Women all struggle. They feel so awful. If there's one thing I know about women, they love to feel bad about things. They love to feel guilty. They love to put the world on their shoulders and let it eat them up inside. Luckily, Hilda B latched on right away. She's sucking. My wife has no problem producing. So fuck you if you did.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Don't feel bad. Stop it. Be a man. We don't feel bad about anything, okay?
And you know, sometimes men with hormone imbalances, they can also lactate. Did you know that?
They can't feed a baby, though.
I don't know. No one's ever tried.
All right. Let me tell you how it goes down.
Yeah.
Around 9 o'clock on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, Julia starts to feel contractions, but nothing painful. Mm-hmm. Just like, oh, that's interesting, like that kind of thing. We're at Casabianca.
Okay.
At 9 o'clock. We'd just seen that Nick Cage movie, the Dream one.
Dream Scenario?
Yeah.
Recommend?
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot darker than you would think it is. By the end, it's like sad. This is like a fable. At 3 a.m, she wakes up and she's like starting to like be painful, but I'm sleeping. You know, I'm like, wake me up later.
You're like, shut up, bitch. I'm gonna kill you, bitch.
I'm gonna push you into a fence, you fucking bitch. So she's like, and I'm like, I'm trying to sleep. Go back to bed. But at that point, she's like, in pain. I think she's like drifting in and out of sleep. But by around 6:30, 7 a.m., she's like, this hurts.
Did Julia, did you have a dream of your unborn daughter while you were drifting out of sleep? When she was like, Mama, it's time. I'm coming. Mama. Did you have that?
No, but I did have, I wish I could remember what it was. I did have something that was like, oh yeah, I'm like, she's coming, or whatever.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
The dream, she looks up and she goes, remember me? She like
every contraction she goes, did I do that?
So here's the deal. They tell you to go to the hospital when you have contractions that last longer than a minute. Every 4 or 5 minutes? They say every 5 minutes.
A minute long, every 5 minutes, for an hour.
For an hour. A minute long, every 5 minutes for more than an hour. If that happens, then you go inside. So at 7 o'clock, I woke up and I started to like time them. She was just in bed, and she's like, "Argh!" It's sad because she's like hurting, but she's like, "Argh!" And I keep looking at my thing, and then I'm like, all right, 8 o'clock, it's on. She was having contractions every like 3 or 4 minutes. I was like, let's go. We call her parents. Her parents come to say, all right, we're going to go. They're in Pasadena. We're going to the Kaiser on Sunset. I go down. We're going there. She could barely walk. We get a wheelchair at some point for her. We check in at the front, and then we go up to the thing. They have a triage room. So this is the room where you're like get accepted, where they come check out your pussy, where they plug you up for all your vitals. This isn't the room where you're giving birth in yet, though.
That's a great pussy, man.
Yeah, they're like,
That is a great shame what's about to happen to it.
No. By this time, it was already a mess. At one point, I saw her bending over like a couple weeks or something before she gave birth. And it was, I don't know what was going down there, though. The whole thing looked crazy.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah. She knows it's true.
So wait, did it look like like, you know when you're a kid and you like put weird things in socks and you like put a bunch of sand in a sock and then the thing is just like blown out?
Yeah.
The head of the sock. Did it look like that, Julia?
It looked like a ham carcass.
A ham carcass.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That is
I
terrible.
think he just because I had hemorrhoids.
Oh.
I think it just is like
Blended together.
Yes, I was like
She had
I was
hemorrhoids.
perfectly bent over naked, and so you could just see like pussy to butthole with hemorrhoids. That
Pussy
does
to
look-
butthole with hemorrhoids.
So you
Julia
saw
said.
you saw
It
lippage
looks-
and then it
yes,
went into like
exactly.
it
But
went
I'm
into
sure your pussy
bulbs.
did look changed at that point too.
No.
Okay.
This is what straight guys care about. They're like, yeah, just that pussy's been it's changed.
No. It looked crazy to me. That's all I'll say. It looked crazy. But anyways, we
was
get her
vaping.
hooked up, and she's experiencing all this pain. She has a comb. They tell her online to get a comb to grip onto because the body could only feel pain in one place.
Oh, okay.
So she has this comb, my beautiful bride. I love her to death, and she's my best friend. And you're watching, and she's like, she's gripping on this comb. She's like, my comb, my comb. When she gets into the triage, she's gripping on a comb. There's like Filipina nurses everywhere, but they measure her. Her pussy is supposed to be dilated 10 centimeters. That's how big it needs to get for her to give birth. And at this point, she was only 2 centimeters dilated.
Whoa.
So all that fucking whoop for nothing. At that point, they go, they say, okay, they're like, you can't stay here. We're going to have to send you home. In the old days, they would have just let her stay. But also, I think, I don't know, would you have rather stayed there if you were given the choice?
I guess not.
Yeah, I guess not. So they sent us home around 11 o'clock. They gave her a morphine shot. She was able to sleep for a few hours. We ended up getting home about 11 a.m. Her parents are there in our apartment, and then Julie and I go to bed around 11 a.m. It's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. At 3 p.m., she kind of wakes up again, and she starts like, at this point, her it's really hurting her. It's like, she's like, like doing all that shit. She starts like, at one point, she starts full throat screaming.
Whoa.
Yeah, which
So like this. Ah! Ah! Is it like that?
I thought I went to
I'm actually really surprised I got that note. I really hit that note.
What if that's how Jonathan sounds when he gets fucked?
That's me when I'm
I
topping.
thought that was you at Akbar. Oh, that's when you're topping.
I'm topping.
Because it feels so good.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. When I'm getting fucked, I say, I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch.
You look
Fuck.
back.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
You fucking bitch. I can't believe you're
Bitch.
fucking me like
Yeah,
this.
and I insult their dick. Even if they have a big dick, I go with that little dick. I can barely even feel it, bitch.
I'm going to kill you for this. I can't believe you're putting me through this. I'm going to put you into an electric fence. No, she's full throat, like primal screaming. I set a bath for her like around 4 o'clock, but she doesn't even sit down in the bath. She's like, I'm just like sitting on the sink, like playing Spotify stuff. And she's like, not this song. I'm like, okay. And, like, she's like, play this.
Julia, what song did Steve try to put on?
Ba with the ba. Ba with the ba, the bang, the bang, the up, check the boogie.
But you should have put
Yeah.
My name is
She didn't even sit in the shower. She grabbed like the side standing, and she's full on pregnant, naked, and she's just going like, with her eyes like rolling to the back of her head and everything. It was just pretty crazy to be next to, but it felt very natural because that this is like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is what women throughout all time have done.
Now, is this what you're saying to her at the time? This is natural, babe. This is what women through all of history have done.
I'm quiet.
And she's there trying to
I know,
bleeding.
Julia. It's funny because her mom was there too, and her mom's like a real like They're very like positive people.
Yeah.
But she's like, "You're doing it, baby," like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I know Julia does not like this. Like I know at one point she like started rubbing Julia's back, and Julia's like, "Don't touch me." She was like that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, Julia's like doing her thing right now. Like, don't get in there. There's not much to say.
Right.
If I felt like me encouraging her would do it, I did it a little bit later in the hospital. But generally, I know she's just like fucking going through this thing right now.
Right. She's like a cat. She needs to, crawl underneath a home and die alone.
Yes.
Right, Julia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at 4:00, her sister, who's in town and who's a what is it called?
Medical resident.
She's a medical resident, so she's practicing to be a doctor.
I didn't know your sister was doing that.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
Technically a doctor currently.
She is a doctor.
Holy shit.
But she's doing this in Utah, and she's in town because of Thanksgiving. So she calls Julia and she goes, "Okay, how do you feel?" And Julia's telling her, and she's like, "Does it feel worse than this morning?" Julia's like, "I don't know." She's like, I don't think so." And I was like, "Okay, well, if it doesn't feel worse, we're not going back to the hospital because I do not want to be sent home again. It's just such a pain in the ass." And then we're
Steve was like, "That was humiliating for me."
no, I know she didn't want it either.
It's so embarrassed, Julia. I was so embarrassed.
So I said, we'll wait till 6. We'll go back at 6. But then like a half an hour later, she was like, and she was like, "It's worse. It's worse." And I was like, "All right, we'll go back." And I'm going to keep talking about this right when we get back.
Oh, no.
And we're back with Horn Dawgs. Last time we left, my wife had a small, just 2 centimeter sized pussy. So we go back in the hospital. It's 5:00. We're just praying, like, please, God, please. So we go back into the triage. They remember us. And
It's you guys.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, the cowards."
You guys again.
The cowards. The chick who was flipping out over just a measly 2 centimeters.
And you whisper in Julia's ear, "Don't humiliate me again."
Don't fuck me again. It is humiliating. Don't you think it's humiliating? You know what it is? She said yes. She's saying yes. Here's why is because I know Julia considers herself a physically tough person, someone who can like take a lot of pain and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you go in and it's just a measly 2 centimeters, then you look like a weak white woman, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see? She said yes.
I only went in because of the time thing.
Yes. And she wouldn't have gone on unless they said, "This is the proof. This is when you come in, when you do this." And that she was minute-long contractions every 4 minutes. So we go in, and she, thank God, is at 4.5 centimeters. They can give her drugs.
Okay.
So up until now is everything you've seen in the movies, where she's like gripping onto this comb, she's screaming, it's like she got her leg blown off. It's really sad. I felt bad for the kids in our apartment complex because as she was walking the car the second time, she tried to hold it back, but she was still like yelling in the courtyard. You've been to our apartment. She's like, "Ah!" And you like see people like closing their windows, and yeah, it was sad.
Wow.
Yeah. But once they say, bless you, once they say 4.5 centimeters, then they're like, "Perfect, we can give you drugs now." Did they not give you, would they give you something first, right?
They give you like a local anesthetic.
No, but you were like calm almost they gave you something in the triage room. You weren't like hurting all the way to the delivery room.
Dilaudid?
No.
Oh, you were still hurting until they give you, that's just not how I remember it. So
I
they
love Dilaudid.
No, I just had to be. I just was like trying to keep it together.
Okay, so they take us to the delivery room. This is Kaiser Sunset. Whatever you heard about Kaiser.
That's where I was born.
Really?
Yeah, I was born at Kaiser Sunset.
Hilda B, born in the same place as Jonathan.
Yeah, I was
love
born there 31 years ago.
that. All right, so it's a nice room. It's like big and like it's like lit, like very like down light. There's a couch for me to sit in. It's nice. It's big. I was really impressed with it. Now we had heard. The whole thing is, Julia, people are saying, "Are you going to try to give a natural birth?" And Julia's like, "No, probably not." And I'm so glad that we were like that because as soon as
Hell yeah.
I don't know how she could have done this for another 5-6 hours.
Right.
Like it was awful. And I know women do it. I asked the nurse, I said, about what's the percentage of people who don't use drugs? And she said probably about 10%. And half of those, it's just because they're too late. So they're too far along in their.
Whoa.
But then, the truth of the matter is that if you don't use drugs, if that's something you really don't want, you're probably not going to go to a hospital, and you should not be at a hospital because you were too tempted to use the drugs. So that percentage is a little skewed because I think when people give natural births, they do it at their house and shit. Julia's mom gave birth to her in a hospital, and she had a bad experience. And so for her little sister, they did it at her house. So Julia remembers being like 7 years old and like watching her mom give birth in the bedroom.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you remember, did you see your sister crown?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember. I do remember like kind of like trying to see if you could like see whatever, but you can't see the vagina itself doesn't get big necessarily until closer to the end. So
right.
It's not like that. You can't. Yeah.
Does it feel like a big, humongous poop? Like
Yeah,
the worst poop you've ever?
The like pressure is the same when you're getting ready to push. It does feel the same like when you have to poop. Like there is something and you feel.
Can they hear you when you edit it? Can they hear you pretty well? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
She said yes. It does feel. It does feel
Fat shit.
Yeah, it feels like a big fat
fatty.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes I poop and I look back and I go, I cannot believe I made that. That's so big.
I like taking a big poop. I'm proud of myself when I take a real fat one.
Same.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
You can't keep doing that. All right, so I had heard that Megan Gailey said they made CJ leave the room when she got an epidural.
Why?
Because they bring a huge needle out. Like
they don't want to intimidate the husband.
No, the husband. No, but I guess husbands faint a lot or whatever.
Oh, seeing their wife get injected with this big needle because it's like a cuck thing, right?
Well, it didn't happen for me. I started jacking off.
First, the woman starts blowing the needle.
Yeah. No, yeah. As soon as I saw that thing, I started just jacking off.
You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, get her. But they did have me sit right in front of her, and they're like, hold her hands, sit right in front of her, and they were like doing the shit back there. So she was like, put her legs off the side of the bed, and I was just like doing that, and then they did it. Dude, as soon as she got the drugs, game over. It's a whole different thing. Then we're just relaxing. Those drugs like helped so much, and she was just like, it was like I had my wife back. She was like, everything's fine, and we were just like watching TV.
You just crank the tunes. If you like pina coladas.
So from that point, that was like 7:00. Me and her sister stayed there. Her parents were in the waiting room, and then we told them, just go to our apartment, like go to sleep around 10:30. Go to sleep around there. We'll call you. It's not even 10 minutes away. I was like, we'll call you when shit starts to happen.
Right.
2:30, the doctor comes in, and she's like, 10 centimeters. She's like, let's do this. And so we called her mom. Her sister was in there. They're very strict about this this Kaiser's the only one with a 2. Most of them have 3. 2 people only in the room. And her sister's a doctor. So at one point, the nurse, when we're going, she like hands Siri the thing to like do some doctor shit too. And she goes, all right, let's do a practice push. 1 push. And then the nurse is like, oh my God, there's so much hair. The head's already at the pussy right there. So they could see, you guys have seen Hilda's hair on Instagram.
It's basically like this, coming out of a pussy. Just picture this coming right out of a pussy.
A full head of spiked hair right there at the edge of the pussy.
Spiked hair.
Yeah.
She came out a full-blown lesbian.
So so that happened, boom. That was sticking out. And then she was like, all right, 1 more practice push. And we're like, why? Me and Siri were like, what's she doing? Like, Julie's going to give birth. So then it's like 1 more. Her mom rushes in right then. And then the nurse was like, all right, you got to go to Siri. And Siri's like, come on, I'm a doctor. And they're like, no, go. And so she had to leave. 2 more pushes, 4 pushes total. And she pulled out Hilda B., who looked like an old little Chinese man.
Right.
And, she's screaming. We'll put it up on Instagram for you guys to check out. But she was just screaming, crying. Then the doctor comes in, who's also a resident. So she's like Siri's age, just some little chick too. It's Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So everybody else is with their family. They're like, let's put in the scrubs right now. And so they gave the baby to Julia. They're like, you want to cut the umbilical cord? I'm like, absolutely not. I do not want to cut a thick vein for my daughter. Right. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Right.
And so they give her to Julia, and Julia holds her, and they like the doctor, and then a real doctor comes in. So the two doctors, the resident
By
doctor,
that he means a man.
yes, it was a man. And then they like sewed Julia's. She was like the little doctor was just kept pulling shit out of Julia's pussy, like so much. The placenta was huge, like a fat steak, like a big ass ribeye steak.
And what did it taste like?
Sirloin.
Mm.
Yeah. I was like, give it here.
Julia, we're starting a business.
But they was just working on her pussy for a long time, like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
She had a little rippage, so they were just sewing it up, and the doctor was telling the young one, like, do this, for literally like 10 or 15 minutes, which is like, oh, you never see him like working on the pussy after this long.
That is crazy. The doctor looks at the other guy and he's like, What do you think of that pussy? Do you think would you want that pussy? And then he slaps me and goes, do it right.
But yeah, then we did our thing. But yeah, we have a daughter now.
That's insane. Yeah. That's crazy. Congratulations.
I hope that wasn't too boring for you guys. I hope we spun a yarn that you really enjoyed.
No, I think it was great, and it was necessary. I mean, we need to welcome this little alien into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's 7 weeks now. She slept for 6 or 7 hours for the first time ever last night. It's been really cool. At first, she doesn't really want anything to do with me. She's just a little animal. All she cares about is eating and sleeping. But even 7 weeks now, she's looking at me. She recognizes my voice. Whenever she's crying in the next room with Julia, and I come in, I go, "What's going on in here?" She always stops crying and like looks at me. Mm-hmm. But it's fun. It's really cool. It's really interesting. Julia, you're happy, right? Julia's really happy. She's an incredible mom.
So have you made a decision? Are you going to stick around, or
I don't know.
You don't know yet? Yeah. That's what.
If her first word isn't dad, I'm fucking pissed.
No, and I get that.
Yeah.
That's why my dad, well, he didn't leave, but he decided to be abusive because my first word was lechita.
Lechita, more lechita.
More lechita. I once bit my mom on the tit because I was breastfed until I was 2.5.
Yeah.
And I bit my mom on her tit, and she reflexively smacked the shit out of me.
Yeah.
She just was like...
Because that's what your dad likes.
Exactly, yeah. He got immediately turned on. And she said that I look back at her like with my big eyes so betrayed, but coming out of my mouth was her breast milk mixed with her blood.
Oh my God.
So it was hard to feel bad
and you were going like this.
Yeah.
Julia just got approved last week to have sex.
Whoa.
So yeah, last Thursday she went, and I was like, I texted her. She's like, I'm good to go. And I was like, you want to fuck today or tomorrow? She's like, today. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. And it's so funny because, sucking her tits is a big part of us having sex.
Yeah.
And
it's a big part of us having sex too, right?
Yeah. You do love guys' tits. It's like something you talk about all the time.
I do like tits. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when guys are flat chested, I also notice. I'm just like,
Oh, so you don't like it as much?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're a little more bisexual than you let on sometimes. Ooh. You always talk about pussy.
What if I really surprised the comedy community and just slept with everyone's spouse? Just cucked everyone out. What would that would be a great way to just leave comedy, just ruin everyone's life, and then go to Omaha.
And a great way to invigorate the scene. I feel like we need some more drama. Part of the reason why the LA comedy scene is not doing that well is there's not a drama either going on.
Yeah,
it's just apathy. No good mics, no good shows, no good tea, no good juice. Nobody's fucking. Everyone's not drinking as much. We need problematic shit.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll start doing more stand-up again. I'll start getting in fights with people again.
It is so funny that LA, even when we started, was a much more chaotic scene. There were like more crazies,
yes, yeah,
and parties and people getting wasted and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's absolutely not like that anymore. And I'm not saying that it's probably better. Women probably aren't getting assaulted as much. More equality and stuff. But
boo,
yeah, I know, boring.
Yeah. No, but I think. Do you think maybe it's just that we're older, and do you think maybe there are people like the younger comics are like ODing left and right and fucking each other's moms and dads and all that stuff. Like they're actually creating their drama, but they're not letting us in on it.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening at Third Wheel. I hear Third Wheel getting tossed around a lot.
Oh no, Third Wheel's it's fine. It's just a little sad.
No, but I'm saying maybe at Third Wheel they're fucking doing drugs, getting wasted.
I mean, I've only been there a handful of times, but every time I'm like, it's mostly men.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't see any of these guys having a girlfriend or a spouse, or if they do, they're not happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
It's very divorced dad's club is the yeah, I'm really coming for Third Wheel. I'm really shit talking open mics that I've been to 3 times.
So we're having sex. We're about to have sex. We're doing that, and I was like, "Do you want me to suck your tits? Like, do it?" And she's like, "Do you want to?" And I was like, "I just don't want milk." I thought I was gonna want milk more.
Okay, you thought you were gonna be one of those lactating dudes who wanted the milk sprayed all over you at climax.
Well, we had our friends, a couple. We were a man and his wife, and he was like, "Oh, Steve, it's so hot when she's riding and she's lactating." And to me, I'm like, "That sounds hot."
Yeah,
everything about that. But I think it's really the smell of milk. You don't want that. I don't like to think of milk and sex together. I want the smell of pussy.
And of shit.
I want the smell of ass more than I want the smell of milk. Milk, especially now, that's my daughter's breath. When I think of milk, I think of my daughter's breath.
Tit breath.
Yeah.
Hilda.
No, milk breath.
I like tit breath better.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So thinking of my daughter's breath when I'm about to fuck her mom, I don't like to mix these things together.
Really?
See? I'm not that much of a freak, all right? That's pretty straight edge, okay?
Yeah, you're turning into, you're very vanilla.
I guess. I'm telling you, I would never have guessed this other.
What does it smell like? I thought it smelled like just
fresh milk. And I'm telling you, it smells like baby.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't want babies anywhere near my sex.
Wow.
Yes. See, I'm normal. Some of you people who think I'm a freak, rethink it. I'm one of you.
So the lactating didn't work.
No. But, we kissed for a long time, and then I just slid in, and it felt fucking good. It felt really good. Baby, You still got it. It felt so good. I like to put her legs over my shoulders, and she's like, nope. She's like, nope. Those stitches. She's like, I could feel like stitch stuff. She's like, put them down. Whoa. And so I was like, man, but it felt so good. I was like, I don't know how much longer I could last. I didn't go down on her, but still, this is our first time back.
Yeah.
And so I just came, and then I was like, I'm going to come. She's like, do it, baby, do it. And then I came, and then I realized she's not on birth control.
Here we go.
Yeah. And I was like, but it's funny because it was after I came, and I was like,
love
Julia.
And marriage.
I was like,
love
Julia.
And marriage.
We can't have another one. And she's like, I'll just get a plan B. I was like, oh my God. And she's like, it's kind of cute to get a plan B when we're married. And I was like, it is kind of cute.
And you have a kid, and you can rustle, Hilda's hair while you tell her that you're about to abort her sibling.
But we're back, man. That's
back. Amazing. I'm so happy.
And we're recording.
For you guys.
She's working here. Her parents are taking care of the baby right now. They live just 10 minutes away, so it's been a nice run. We haven't talked about you at all.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just kind of a naturally generous person who lets people just talk about their own life, and it's not really about me.
This is just such a big life episode. We had to talk to you guys about it.
I met the baby.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Well, I think she's beautiful. I think she's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys owe her to me.
Yes.
As the gay uncle.
Yeah.
So I am expecting her any day now. I basically arrived like Rumpelstiltskin. Just
weeks after she was born,
requesting the newborn child.
You remember you remember the Rumpelstiltskin story?
Yes,
the like dirty elf.
Yeah,
but
I was promised a daughter on the morrow of eve. Like, yeah, it was no. She's absolutely fantastic, and she liked me. She didn't. Yeah. She didn't cry.
Yeah.
She didn't cry. And I took that as she liked me, or she has no opinion, which I'm fine with. Yeah. She's
pretty good. She only cries generally when she needs. She's been fussy lately, but at first, like I said, she was just like a little animal. She didn't want that much to do with me. But the older she gets, the more I'm like she just looks. I like teared up yesterday. Went to change her. She'll cry a lot, but when you go put her on the changing table, a lot of times she just stops crying and she just looks at you. And I was just like, oh my god,
change my shit, bitch. Clean up my shit, fucking bitch.
She's just looking. I mean, like I said, I don't like pets. I'm from an abused home, so I don't like weak things. I don't like weakness. But she's so perfect and innocent and little that I'm just like, oh man, I do just want to protect you. Well, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't want you to think this is whatever. When she was born, it was not like my life's changed. But the more I spend time with her, Julie's like, you just need more FaceTime. And I am staying home. I am missing mics. I do feel bad. I do worry for my career.
Oh, bitch, don't feel bad about missing mics for your daughter.
I just worry about my career. I already have zero traction.
Exactly. So you don't need to feel bad. You don't need to fucking feel bad about missing mics. This is your daughter. How awful would it be if you did a mic right on the night that your daughter was born?
No, not
But
that.
there are people who are like
of course.
who are like, oh shit, I'm already thinking of jokes already, and they'll go to third wheel and they'll be like, just my daughter was just born, and everyone's like,
you should not be here.
We feel so bad for this kid. Yeah.
I know. I try to tell myself about what's important and that kind of stuff too. But the more time I spend with her, the more I just look at her, the more I do. I just love her more.
And you do have traction on your career because Steve is going to be in a third movie.
I keep booking these short films from auteur comedy directors.
I think this is kind of a signal for you to stop doing as much stand-up and fall back on your plan B, which is to be a movie star.
Yeah, acting. I mean, we do have to do that. So we got the podcast going. I'm running Chatterbox. My stand-up career. These people get managers. These people that you wouldn't believe get managers.
Well, managers will manage anything.
Yeah, but they'll I see these people getting Comedy Central clips and that kind of stuff. And, generally, Comedy Central, you're doing an incredible job, generally. But also, just to keep watching these classes of people.
Are they? Aren't they falling down the tube?
Oh, they're almost dead, but
right.
Generally,
doing a great job dying.
Generally, the people they pick, I think, are pretty funny. So,
okay,
yeah.
Wow, you're really still sucking that Viacom dick, huh?
No. I just think they've gotten better. I remember when we started, it was bad. You would check out Montreal, or you would check out people who got stuff, and there'd be people like, "Woof." Like, what the fuck, that person?
Things have always been like that. There's always been even now they'll do lists, and there's a lot of great people, and then there'll be one or two that's like, oh, you extorted your way onto this list. There's no other reason you're on this list,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hold out hope that the likes of, Big J. Okerson and Sebastian Maniscalco, they popped when they were 18 years in. So this is what I have my fingers crossed for.
Yeah. This is why stand-up is so sad,
And we love it.
I don't know if we do. I think you love it.
Yeah, you were doing good for a little while. What's up with you? I guess the holidays happened, so.
No, it's not the holidays. It's just, my life is filled with death. And,
it is, John.
It is. My life is filled with death. I've lost so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's about it.
And you keep posting about Palestine. If you guys are ever uninformed about Palestine, every day Jonathan keeps posting more and more graphs, more and more, personal accounts.
Yeah.
I post nothing, not because I don't think it's a genocide, because I don't think our government's going to do anything about it. So that's why I post nothing.
No, you post nothing because you want that beautiful indie film auteur career.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you gotta stay on
just
people's
keep
good side.
booking short films.
Yeah, you gotta stay on Brett Gelman and Deborah Messing's good side. The great actors of Brett Gelman and Deborah Messing.
And Seinfeld himself went to Israel to meet with the kidnapped families.
Seinfeld, I mean, he's an idiot. He's always been a moron.
What's the deal with bombing hospitals?
Yeah, he's just ridiculous. I'm not going to stop posting about Palestine. Mm-hmm. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I don't know. It's just It's kind of those things of I'm sure there are people who would not want to work with me after I've been posting so much. But to me, I'm like, good. That's fine. Let's clear out all the gaffer or the gaffa or whatever. Let's clear that all out.
Yeah.
And it leaves you more limited, but at least you're going to be limited to the people that you don't want to actually work with, you know? But also it's like, who gives a fuck?
I just learned my lesson, Black Lives Matter. I was like, everybody says everything, nothing. I don't believe anything's going to change, especially when you watch. And we're going to stop talking about this. Did not mean to do that. But you see our government is 1,000% behind Israel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, so that's the whole problem. So guess what, Joe Biden? You don't get my vote, you fucking loser. It doesn't matter anyways. We're in California. We do not live in a democracy. Hey, thank you guys for listening. We're back. Tell all your friends about it. Please watch the YouTube station. This takes so much work. Julia edits it. Jonathan was editing it too. Hours, like 8 hours to edit it. So watch the YouTube thing. Tell people about it. Follow us at Horn Dawgs Podcast on Instagram. Follow us at YouTube. Rate and review us. John, do you have anything to say?
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
Yes.
And that's for real. Free Palestine.